Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between. Welcome back to GEEXX Reads. Today I'm going to talk about Hunting Ground by Patricia Briggs, an image of which you will see here. This is the next book in the Alpha Omega series, the spin-off series from the Mercedes Thompson's series. When I did the talk about Fair Game, I had said it took place after Moon Called, and I would apologize for doing things slightly out of sequence. I was wrong. Fair Game actually takes place during Moon Called, as does this. There's a bit at the end of Moon Call which talks about something that happens like a couple months down the road. This takes place during that couple of months. So there will be some spoilers for Moon Called and Fair Game. Not too many though. So Bran Cornick, the Marrock, the leader of all the wolves in North America, is going to take the werewolves public, going to announce to the world that werewolves exist. The Fae had come out years before, decades before, and the governments have kind of realized that maybe other things might exist. And with modern technology, it's getting harder and harder to hide. So Bran has decided to take werewolves public. Many people aren't happy with that, but be that as it may. That's what this book is primarily about, some of that. Bran initially, there's a meeting of werewolves across, from across the world. They're having a meeting in Seattle. There are werewolves coming from England, Spain, Italy, Germany, France, and other areas. Mostly Europe. There are werewolves in other parts of the world. They have already been talked to. This is the meeting that Bran has set up. He has one of the Fae being the moderators. Charles winds up going in his stead instead of Bran Cornick going. Charles and Anna are still newly married. It's still been only a couple of months, so Anna is still dealing with things from the trauma from what happened to her in the novella Alpha and Omega. So they're still working on their relationship. Charles is still working on trying to give her the space that she needs. She is still working on trying to move past her trauma of her assault. Multiple assaults. So a lot of this deals with, there are other things going on too. There are vampires involved in this story with werewolves. The leader of the wolves from England is called Arthur. He believes himself to be King Arthur reincarnated. The wolves in France are led by Jean Chastel, the Beast of Gévaudan. I was pleased to see that in this book. The Beast of Gévaudan is a French myth from like, I think, the 1500s, I think, about a monstrous wolf terrorizing the peasants. I always like seeing old myths brought to the current times. One of the reasons I like these books and some of the other books I read about contemporary fantasy. That's the general gist of what's going on. It's a negotiation, it's meeting strange werewolves, it's getting a bunch of dominant werewolves together to try to broker what's going to happen when the wolves are made public. The werewolves are made public. And of course, Charles and Anna working through their relationship. Charles is still being creepily possessive in the story. Some of that is because they're still newlyweds, still trying to work out their relationship. I think that the saving grace for the character of Charles Cornick is that he knows his possessiveness is something he can't control, and it's something that's not good for Anna. So he works very, very hard to suppress it. He's not always successful, but he tries very, very hard to reassure Anna that while he may feel possessive, um, he knows it's not good for her, and he's trying to let her make decisions on her, make decisions on her own, but that kind of thing. But like, he's not trying to control her. He's trying to allow her to be her own person because he knows that's what's best for her. There's a line in this book. She's kind of like trying to do something independently, and she knows that that his natural possessiveness doesn't necessarily agree with that. And she's like, "You're okay with this?" And he's like, "No, but it doesn't matter. It's not about what I want. It's about what's good for you." The line that got me is like, he said, "I would kill everyone here if I thought that would be good for you, but that won't help you. I want to do what's going to help you." And like I said, that's Charles' saving grace for this story. He is, Charles has been a werewolf a long time. He's over 200 years old. So he was born in a time when men were possessive of their women. So, that's something, that he's kind of brought, plus the werewolf thing, is also making him possessive. But he is I find him to be an extraordinary character that I really enjoy reading. Anna, for her part, is trying to figure out what it means to be an omega wolf, not an alpha wolf, but an omega wolf. Trying to learn how to do that as best she can, learn about what it is as best she can. And she's trying to work through her trauma, trying not to be scared of every little thing, every time someone looks at her aggressively. And she is learning that she doesn't have to be scared all the time. She is a werewolf too. She is strong. She has done things. She does what she needs to survive. In the previous book, spoiler for fair game, she kills someone who is threatening Charles and Bran. It is the climax of the book, so I did kind of give it away, but she kills a witch who is, threatening the pack, threatening people that she cares about. And, she realizes that she has strength and she has power. She's coming into her own. She's not quite there yet. It's still, it's only a couple months since she was rescued by Charles from her abusers. So, that's the general gist of it. It's funny, but of all the books that Patricia Briggs has written, this is one of the ones that I remember the best. When I talked about trying to figure out the timeline, I actually went through and skimmed Mooncalled a little bit to try and make sure I had my timeline correct and fixing how I had it done wrong. But there was so much detail that I'm skimming through. It's like, I don't remember any of this. I just read this like 6 months ago. Maybe I'm getting old. But yeah, I find of all the books, the Mercedes Thompson and the Alpha Omega series, I find that I remember these better, the Alpha and Omega books better. I'm not sure why, because I'm not a real fan of romance novels, and these do lean more in towards romance because there is more of that. There's some tension between Mercy and Sam and Adam, and there's like a love triangle in the Mercedes Thompson books. This is just Charles and Anna, and as much as I love the Mercedes Thompson books, I think the spin-off Alpha and Omega series actually has my interest more. I have mentioned my problems with it. Charles being creepily possessive, and the initial romance between them was, to me, kind of icky. but it's kind of mellowing out, becoming something more wholesome and healthy, which is good. And I just found that there's a mystery going on here. Things are happening. I did mention vampires. That's what the mystery is. We're not quite sure how the vampires fit into this whole thing until the very, very end. So, really, really good book. I powered through this one pretty quickly as well. It is a good addition to the Mercedes Thompson series. I'm pretty sure the next book I will read chronologically is back with Mercedes Thompson. But I'll have to check again. I'll have to double check my timeline. So, good book in the series. I really, really enjoyed it. As always, thanks for watching. As always, my stuff is crap. And until next time, good hunting.